Imagine a being that knows everything. They know about every animal, every plant, every single scientific phenomenon. This being would still be unaware of the vastness of the last frontier, outer space. An all-knowing being would be unaware about everything about outer space because space is ever growing, larger than the last millisecond. In a way, space is infinite. This is what makes space so interesting, so intriguing. It's the curiosity. The innovation with space travel is what makes it amazing. And that is why NASA named one of their Mars rovers Curiosity. Now, I want to talk about the innovation related to space travel and how it affects all of us, how it affects all of you. Show of hands. Who has ever wondered what it would be like to work with a space agency such as NASA? Well, I only asked the question to get my point across. And the point is that I have thought of this. And as a student still in high school, I have the possibility to make this dream a reality. Even if I change my mind and don't decide to pursue this career, I will always be fascinated by the topic. Now, I have to talk about some bad things going on in the world. The environment is not doing too well. And the humans are the cause of that problem. Species of animals and plants are going extinct every day, and people are also finding it hard to breathe. This pollution is causing people trouble, and one example would be the decline in air quality in places such as Asia and South America. Now, moving on to the innovation part. Let's start by talking about what has already been done in the past. So, just to skim past things. During the height of the Cold War, there was a space race. A Russian man named Yuri Gagarin was the first man in space. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, who were manning the Apollo 11 mission, were the first men to step on the moon. And that is where Neil Armstrong said, "One small step for man is a giant leap for mankind." And I agree greatly with that sentiment. Ever since then, NASA have been the supergiants of the space exploration game. And they're closely followed by the Indian Space and Research Organization, as well as China's CNSA. The technology used to navigate and control these shuttles have changed greatly over the years. The computers that were used are nothing compared to what they are today. And nowadays, it's a whole different story. There's even the first private company administrating launches, and that is SpaceX. Now, most people know about SpaceX, but they're unaware of the details. So if you haven't been listening from the beginning, now would be a good time to start, because it gets important. What SpaceX is trying to do is take people to Mars with their spacecraft, which is set to launch in around 2024, as said by the owner Elon Musk. There's a lot of innovation when it comes to space travel, especially the technology. Think about how humans went from using literal rocks to now going to a different planet to basically do the same thing. Humans will be using the materials to their disposal to accomplish tasks and meet their needs. They will also make new scientific developments using the materials they find in a different planet. The problem is, and yes, there is a problem, that the technology is still very experimental, and the date set in 2024 could be unrealistic. Until then, people are living in horrible conditions, such as in New Delhi, where the 21 million inhabitants found it hard to breathe last year in November, when the air quality was recorded above 400 consistently for 5 days. And that is a problem when compared to the good air quality, which is measured between 0 and 50. These problems are real, and that is why I have made it a dream of mine to make this a reality. I want to help people and help the environment. This is one of the biggest things that has motivated me, for man to take another big step, another leap for mankind. With the start of a new age, entire societies will change, and people will learn a completely new ecosystem, new environment, and humans will become multiplanetary beings. It is an interesting point to think about, and it all started last year when I watched a movie. It's called Mission Mangal, and it depicts the story of how an Indian scientist made a shuttle go to Mars on his first attempt for a reasonable price. The Mangalyaan, which is the name of the shuttle, cost around 74 million US dollars, which is good when compared to NASA's Maven, which cost around $672 million. The movie really inspired me and kindled my joy for space exploration, even though I had no idea about it at the time. It really amazes me how a scientist in 2013, his innovation inspired me to create and innovate more. A similar feeling was accomplished when I watched the movie Martian, even though that movie focused less on the engineering. Nevertheless, people will always have doubts, and those are based on fact. The truth is that this technology is experimental and could potentially be dangerous. In the past, many shuttle tests have failed, such as the Apollo 1, which was NASA's first attempt to land people on the moon. And the fact is that space is completely different to the conditions on Earth, which is why one small mistake could lead to catastrophe. But that will always be the case. And with innovation, there are downfalls, but the payoff is worth it. This new technology is nearing our time, and it will end an era in history. People don't focus on the possibilities this brings and how important this is for everybody. It will save our home planet by reducing carbon emissions, and everyone knows that less population equals less pollution. Mankind is looking to take the next step, to conquer the next frontier. The least we can do is that young minds know about the greatness of outer space. As a young child myself, I was very interested in outer space until I lost that interest. And then a spark of innovation rekindled that fire for me to innovate. Many people don't grab their opportunities, or they don't realize their passion, and that is a waste of brilliance. Mankind started their journey on Earth, but they can continue their journey in outer space. The Earth won't last long if we keep living like this without innovation. Thank you.